Hello, welcome to another Pendulum Friday here at Soulprint. Thank you so very much for being here. Before I get going, I just want to take a moment and remind everybody to please, if you have questions, we have great questions this week. If you have questions, put them in the comment section of the weekly videos, sort of the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday ones. And um, the amazing Joyce will go through and she compiles them all for me and then she sends them to me. Also, after Joyce has done that and the video is released, there's this lovely lady named Hilda who goes along and puts in the timestamps. And that makes it super easy if there's a specific question that you're looking for an answer for, you don't remember what it was or whatever, you know, that will also be very helpful. Okay, so for Joyce and Hilda, thank you. My sincere thanks. And yay. Okay. For anybody who is new here, welcome. Consider subscribing. I love the comments. I love the thumbs up. They keep the channel kind of in circulation and moving forward. So let's just talk about my little pendulum here. When the pendulum, as it is now, is going side to side, it means that I am protected and the pendulum is ready to talk. When the pendulum goes back and forth, it's a yes. Sorry, that didn't make any sense. Back and forth means yes. Pendulums show me no. And you'll see that it will shift to a circular round and round motion. The pendulum, what if you don't want to give us an answer? It just stops. Okay, so let's get started. Where are we? Will any interest rate hikes occur in 2024? Okay, so for Canadians, I read just the other day that they're anticipating that the interest rate is going to stay sort of static. It's going to stay the same, probably through the winter. And the anticipation or the expectation, and this is coming from, banks and financial people who know what they're talking about. Probably April is when they're anticipating that they will be able to implement the first drop in interest rates. So for Canadians, I'm just going to ask if that is, as of right now, if that is an accurate prognosis. Pendulum. Okay, so that's a yes. So what the people who know what they're talking about have said, apparently for right now, based on this energy, we should be okay. All right, in the United States, are interest rates likely to go up in the next 6 months? Well, okay, so that's a no. Do is it more likely than not that interest rates will start to drop in the United States as we go through winter and into spring? Okay, and that's also a yes. So that's good news because those interest rates um, are high. And it has a significant impact on people all over the place. They're paying too much. They're paying more for their mortgage. They're paying more for their line of credit. It has all these other implications on the financial world and government, et cetera, et cetera. Do you ever see the Republicans succeeding in making massive cuts, dismantling our Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid within the next 10 to 20 years? Are the Republicans going to actually be able to dismantle it, to destroy those services? No, no, they won't. They won't be. Well, it's a really enthusiastic one. So I guess the pendulum would leave you all stop worrying about that. Will Americans see Medicare eligibility lower to 60 instead of 65? There's a couple of questions. I'm going to do that one first. Um, in the next 3 or 4 years, is the Medicare eligibility age going to drop to 60? Is that something that can be anticipated? Okay, that's a no. Um, and or move to a universal healthcare single payer system within the next 10 years. That's a yes. I think I join every single Canadian who just shakes their head and goes, how do you guys function without sort of like universal health care? How do you pay for that stuff? Good Lord. Will the House manage to produce a budget that covers both Ukraine and Israel? I'm going to add before the deadline. That's a no. Is the government likely to shut down in November because the budget has not gone through? It's a yes. Now, these are small responses, okay? So don't panic. Um, if the government shuts down, is it going to be for longer than 5 business days? Okay, that's a no. Before I forget, because as you know, I got a brain like a sieve. I have recorded some videos that are going to be coming out for you next week. One of them is a bit of a deep dive on, the Tsar, the Russian guy, him. Um, so there's that. And I've also taken a look at what the GOP, what these guys, these Republicans, are kind of planning on doing. They again, you know, there was all these elections in Kentucky and Ohio and whatever. They didn't do well at all. The Democrats overperformed, and even in places where the Republican won, the Democrats overperformed. So, if they had 35 points in the last election, well, they had 42 in this election. So, even though they didn't get voted in, they were doing very, very well. Um, what are these guys going to do? Like, what do they do to the party? How do they try to save the party, or do they? That video is coming up for you next week. Um, will Republicans get to put in place that Projects 2025? Okay, so as of right now, it is a no. For those of you who don't know, Project 25 is a little bit scary. This is about a group of people who are um, planning what the government is going to look like when Trump wins. And it's horrible. I mean, they're going to shut down, all kinds of government agencies. They're going after the DOJ. They're going to go after all of Trump's perceived enemies. They want to shut down the courts. It's not good. And Project 2025 is this sort of plan that they want to have in place so they can literally implement it the very second, Trump finishes, swearing the oath of office that he can't understand and doesn't listen to and doesn't adhere to. It's not going to happen, but it is a little concerning that you have Republicans who are literally on board with, as soon as Trump says his oath, they want military out on the streets going and prepare and making sure that civilians don't dare demonstrate. Like this is dystopian kind of stuff. It's scary, but I don't think that they're going to be able to get the momentum. It's interesting because you and me and other channels have been talking about this Project 2025 for at least 3 or 4 weeks, and just like this week, um, have the news outlets started to talk about it, which is I just find incredibly interesting. All right. Are the judicial systems, federal government, federal judges, Supreme Court judges, aware of the fact that if elected, the monster intends to eliminate them too? Okay, well, so yeah, they seem to be, yes, they seem to be aware of it. realistically, do the judges, be it, federal or Supreme Court, do they actually think um, that will be able to happen? Do they consider it like a real threat? Okay, so as of right now, they don't. I don't know what they're thinking. I guess they're thinking those really shaky guardrails are going to protect them. I don't know. I have found hundreds of steaming bot accounts, um, 1 week to 10 months active, all of which disparage USA and spread hate and lies against Biden. Are the bot accounts to sway the 2024 election going to work? This is a no. And are there foreign actors that have played a significant role in getting these bots out on the internet? Yeah. Are there organizations that are part of the GOP or part Republican, also doing what they can do on the internet with bots? And that's a yes. Will the government be able to shut down bot accounts? Mhm. Yep. I don't know. Let's see. Or YouTube. So I'm going to ask it broad. Are the bot accounts going to get shut down? Are they going to be able to get them shut down? Okay, so that's a yes. Will Mark Meadows go to jail for his crimes? No, he's not going to. And I know that's a profound disappointment to a lot of people, but we have to remember that there's not a way to get every single person who played a role in the insurrection or who knew about the classified documents, leaving the house in huge boxes. Um, it's like a lot of things, right? You take out the head, and I not only does the pendulum say no, I don't get that. I actually think in some ways he's going to be in more trouble with the publisher because he owes them some money, and they're not very happy with him because he basically came out and said, yeah, he lied in the book. Um, has Mark Meadows provided helpful information to any of the investigations? Okay, so that's a yes. We're going to leave it there. Did Mike Johnson take note of the states that overwhelmingly voted yesterday to keep abortion legal and included in their state constitution? Did Mike actually sort of make note of that? Okay, well, yeah, he did, kind of. When you see the video that's going to come out next week on the GOP, one of the things that they talked about was the fact that he has a very, very narrow vision, and anything that is outside of his acceptable vision of the way things should be, he really doesn't almost process. Um, he might see it, but he doesn't think that that means that there's anything he should do about it because he doesn't agree. And so, again, what you have here is politicians who are on and on about what they think is the right way to go, and they're not paying any attention to their constituents at all. And one can only hope that all those constituents are voting these leaks out of office. Um, In the United States, will more states put abortion rights on the ballot in 2024 and when? That looks like a yes. So I'm just going to ask this. So, with all of these different states implementing abortion rights, is there still going to be an overriding federal abortion law that comes into effect Okay, so that's a yes. What I was saying in my mind, that isn't a complete ban. So I'm just gonna ask it because I didn't talk fast enough. Um, the law that's going to come down pertaining to abortions by the federal government at some point in the future, is that going to be a strong and positive law for um yes, so for women's health and etc. All right. So there are rumors that Mike Johnson has a lot of skeletons in his closet um, that go way back, and he and his wife are trying to scrub their social media history. Are these rumors true? And if so, will they be revealed in the coming months leading into 2024? So interesting. I don't know how many of you have seen this, but one of the forms that he needed to fill out as a House representative included sort of banking information, and he absolutely left that section blank. So, according to the form, he doesn't have a bank account, which, that's just bogus. That doesn't even make sense. I mean, you can't function in this world without a bank account. Um, so, right now, he has been having enough trouble because there is so much in the past that's public that is being brought to the surface by media, by investigations. So I'm going to ask it this way: Is that um, are those pieces from the past that do not put him in a good light? Are they going to continue to be revealed? Yes. Um, is are the rumors or um the proven statements that are just way out, in left field somewhere, uh, is sort of the impact or the damage, will that be done prior to the end of 2023? Is there going to be enough that comes out that will actually damage him? No. 2024. Let's ask this. Is Mega Mike Johnson still going to be the Republican leader of the House by the end of January 2024? Is he still going to be in that position? That's a no. Alrighty. Will Trump's mental capacity become a significant problem that just cannot be ignored by the public and the GOP, especially before the 2024 election? Yeah. I mean, he's had some real um it's confusion. He is putting the wrong leaders in the wrong countries. Sometimes he thinks he's running against Obama, sometimes Bush. He's really becoming scattered. And I think personally, my opinion, that not only is he dealing with cognitive issues, but I really think that the stress of the lawsuits, etc., are starting to get to him, and I think that that is part of it. It's almost like his system is sort of starting to short circuit a little bit. All right. Judge Shutkin has moved the trial date up from March 4th to February 9th. Okay, let's correct that right now. The trial is going ahead on March 4th. I know this and I remember it because March 4th is my birthday. Um, what gets started on February 9th is the beginning steps and stages of jury selection. So I think it starts out with, each side has to submit questions that they want the jurors asked. And then, both sides sort of have to agree and they go back and forth. It is like a process. It's not just like, they reach into a box and pull out, a fistful of names and say, you guys are on the jury. There is a real process. And in fact, I think there's actually an art to getting a jury that is going to be responsive to your side of the case. So that's what's starting in February 9th. Now, from what I understand from, people who talk about this stuff, that's really far in advance. Like normally that kind of a process would take place, I don't know, 10, 14 days before a trial. But because it is what it is and she's expecting the kind of back and forth, that is why she has moved it up. Start the jury process on the 9th of February. So I will ask this question. Is the case that Judge Shutkin has, is that going to get moved up before March 4th? Is it going to start before March 4th? So right now it's, I got to tell you, it's a little bit of a wobbly no. As of right now, no. He keeps pulling these things that he's doing. Um, the thing is that she has a lot of other um, strategies that she can use to reprimand his behavior before she gets to the point where she's going to actually physically move up the case, right? I mean, um, will Trump's Hollywood star ever be removed permanently? Does he like have a star like on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood? And I don't know. I didn't know he had one. Is that ever going to get removed? So I'm getting a yes. What I'm seeing is that, well, this is home. What I'm seeing is that it gets damaged. And hold on. Stop. Okay, I hope that settles it down. So what I'm seeing, they're showing me that it gets damaged, and then there is sort of this kind of process or not process to get the thing removed or fixed. Like they're slow walking it, whatever's going on in there. Will Trump be convicted of the charges pertaining to January 6th? Will there be a conviction? Yes. Um, will that conviction be appealed? Yes. Is that conviction going to happen before November of 2024, the first conviction? Is that conviction actually going to happen before like the beginning of February of 2024? No, sorry, that I'm thinking of the wrong case. I'm thinking of the case I was asking about is the one that he's currently involved in right now. Hold on, let me back up and just clear my head. Okay, so January 6th is the the case that's going to start on March 4th. Is there going to be a conviction in that case? Okay, yes. Is it going to be appealed? Yes. Is the initial conviction going to take place prior to the election in 2024? Is that case likely to be resolved by June of 2024? June or July, the summer of 2024? Yeah. So by resolved, that means the first um, verdict, right, has come down. He's going to appeal it. He's going to keep on appealing it all the way up to the Supreme Court. Um, if he's around to do that, I guess. Here's the next question that I was leaping ahead. Will the New York case be decided before Christmas? And that looks like a yes. Will it be determined that Trump can't legally continue running for office due to his crimes? So the caveat to that is this whole 14th Amendment, Section 3. The first case that came up in front of a judge was dismissed. So let's see. Is Trump going to end up not being allowed to run as a result of the 14th Amendment, Section 3 being implemented? And it's gone still. So as of right now, there isn't an answer. I think it could be possible that maybe he's not ready. Will there be a pause in Gaza for aid? Okay, so there's a whole bunch of them. They're going on all the time. So the answer to that is going to be yes. Yeah. They're going to keep working at creating these pauses. I just something about like a 4 or 5 hour pause going on. Like they're going to continue to push for that and push for the release of the hostages. So that's what I know about that. Is the deep state afraid of being discovered and uncovered by the media? And is riling up Hamas to distract the world? Okay, those look like two very, very separate questions here. So, whoever or whatever this deep state is, let's ask this first. Is there actually a deep state in the United States? Is there something that sort of is recognizable as a deep state? No. Is there very corrupt, very wealthy people who wield a lot of power and influence on the in the legal and political world? Yes. Is riling up Hamas to distract the world? It's to distract everybody from Ukraine for sure. Um, and I think that's the primary thing that was going on there. There's too many connections between information went from here to Russia, and then from Russia it went somewhere else, and then it went somewhere else, and all of a sudden there's like a war. So I think a big part of it is to distract from the Ukraine war. When Putin dies, will the Russian government keep that information secret? They will for a while. And if you check out the reading that's going to be released next week, you're going to get more information on that. Is it true that germs and viruses do not exist in the fourth dimension? No. So understand this. The fourth dimension is already starting to have an impact here on Earth. People transition into the fourth dimension. It is more about a mental transition. It is about perceptions. Is it about the way you see the world and the way you interact within the world? Um, that's where that shift comes. It's not another place in another, galaxy somewhere. The fourth dimension is simply about energy vibrations and our responding to them. So, um, right now, there are people who are sort of more in the fourth dimension versus the third dimension, running around the earth, and they are not protected from germs and viruses because they're still in that environment. Now, I don't know, maybe vibrationally there is some additional protection for them. I don't know about that. Let's ask because that's kind of curious. As people's vibrational energy increases, do they have additional protection from germs and viruses? Yes. Fascinating. Well, so if that isn't motivation to kind of get yourself, mentally shifting upward, I don't know what is. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here. It's the weekend. Go do something nice for yourself and somebody else. Until next week, take care and be well. Bye.